Alright, so today we're going to be reacting to this. This is Yikii with Flower's Grave. Happened to stumble across this the other night. I haven't actually listened to this album. I just had it on to fall asleep, and as usual, I don't remember anything. But I remember the genre. This is going to be some like kind of shoegazy, dreamy, slightly noisy kind of stuff. And yeah, we're just getting right into it because I'm actually really excited to hear this. From my loose memory, I really liked what I was hearing. And yeah, first track, Rotten Flowers. Ooh. Already very nice sound design. Short album too. Ooh. It's a nice voice too. Nice airy vocals. Some guitar feedback and some nature sounds, I think. Lots of chimes or something. Thunder. Lots of crazy sound design. Like field recording kind of stuff. This is immediately like very striking. Big bass in the right ear. That was already really amazing, actually. I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna save some of my thoughts. I want to be able to hear a bit more of the music before and kind of form my thoughts a little more before I say anything. Track 2, Toxic Clouds in Dreamland. We got some industrial stuff going on here too. What's that in the background? Oh, that's gone now. It's already gone. flute or vocal or something. I couldn't really tell. Mixing and production on this is really amazing, and like the actual sound palettes and these like sonic landscapes is like super interesting. Wow. Some I wonder if that's like a specific sample, because usually whenever I hear those exact kind of like, you know, rising from the earth sounds, they always sound so painfully like stock footage samples, and that did not sound stock at all. That was really good. Should probably recreate that to rumbly bass, and then you know, just pour some dirt into a cup or something. Listen to that. It's very pretty. And it's over. Before I go on, 1 second, I just want to get this light out of here. Hold on. Just still look good on the capture. I think we're fine. I don't have a split. Excuse me. I don't have a split screen set up right now, so it's a bit hard to tell if it looks good. But I got a flash of it. It looks all right. I mean, it's not supposed to look exactly good. I just want it to be dark, which is kind of the point. You can still see me. That's fine. Next track, Sunset Shopping. Chills, kinda. All right. Man, it's like It's like creepy, but it has like a almost like a cuteness to it also. Oh, all right. Again, some more industrial elements again. It's an interesting sound. Again, the mixing in this is really good. Holy shit. You know, me being a big fan of anime and a lot of Japanese culture in general, and especially with my love for like psychological horror stuff, I've heard this kind of similar to this kind of sound a lot, but this is by far the best I've heard it. Like, and I've heard a lot of stuff like this, and how do I explain it? When it's like a song made for like it's like a background OST or something like that, it just has a certain feel. It's written a certain way, and even then, it's still I don't want to say commercial, but it's really rudimentary and stripped down, and you have just enough of these horror kind of elements musically to fit the scene. Like, your tropes, like your big bass, your creepy choir, I forget the term for when, all the strings are going up and down, semitone apart for each, that kind of stuff, and it all see, for even for what it is, it seems very, stereotypical and somehow like safe and, and commercial and stuff, this not only has a very, not only is it has a very unique feel for one, and two, it's it's like that kind of idea, but like extended to the scale of music for an actual album, not a background soundtrack. And I'll comment on pacing a bit later, because right now there's a lot going on. It's not overdoing it at all, and I like a lot of noisy experimental stuff too, and I feel like they could easily, like with something like Uboa, right? With her albums, you could very easily go down the route where you're focusing on like the noise and like the static and that kind of stuff, and treat it more like noise music. There's still noise in here. It is very noisy and experimental, but like there's much more of a focus on like sound design and again, I want to say pacing, but there's not been much of that. I don't know if some later tracks are going to like calm down, be a bit more atmospheric in a calmer way, or if we're gonna get like some even crazier, like noise walls or something. But this is extremely, extremely interesting so far. I'm really, really liking what I'm hearing. Next track, track 4, Feast of Fire. I will say too, like Japanese horror and like Western horror, they do have different vibes, and it's just a bit more Japanesey, of course. It's a Japanese artist, so. I'm liking like these naturistic kind of sounds too. We keep hearing pop up every now and then. Again, it gives this album a lot of personality and uniqueness. And it is very easy for noisy stuff like this not to stand out, and it definitely stands out. Sound design is so good. Nice. Track 5, Cruelty, Lullaby. I don't want to... Jeez, I keep getting cold chills, holy shit. I don't want to say too much. I kind of already said most of what I want to say anyways about the, you know, production stuff itself. I just want to kind of sit in it for a bit. I'll chime in when necessary. But just so you know, like, I'm very attentive. There's a lot going on, and I'm hearing all of it. Nice. Track 6, Guillotine, Lament. Oh, there's a Guillotine right there. The few melodies that are in this are pretty good too. There's some interesting intervals there. Nice vocal technique. Got some nice organs now. More organ. The train whistle, I guess. Not sure if that's a real violin. Those are synthesized, yeah. And the guillotine sound earlier too. Sounded almost like an old Casio keyboard for a second. got some reverse strings now too. Yeah, I think those are train sounds. Various different train sounds. Like the whistle, the horn. That just sounds like a train. I will say too, similar to what I said about just throw over like, you know, soundscapes and stuff, with the actual the samples they're using to the actual sounds they're implementing. Same deal, you know, usually when I hear stuff like this, it's like, oh, you know, there's a sample, it just kind of is there. But they're worked here, they're worked into the soundscape, and they're blended in so well. They don't sound like they're just dragged and dropped in. This is really good stuff. Also, the album art is also really amazing, you know. You know, with music being, you know, watered down so much nowadays, you know, people forget that music is an art form. And it's albums like this that remind me that, yes, the album cover is just as important to the experience as the music is. Nope. I want to get rid of the thing, but it's just not. Alright, whatever. I guess that's there. Hold on, let me just get something else here. Ah, man. Hold on. Can this work? Where's the button?
Let's see it.
There's supposed to be a button to turn that off. Oh, whatever. That's gonna be a pain to edit later. Because I use screenshots for the thumbnail. It's gonna be really annoying. No, it's gone? Whatever. Anyways, yeah, the album art is very, like, I can always appreciate albums that not only are super, like, unique in their sound, like, you know, like, you know, they're actually going for a very specific, unique, personal sound, and then the album cover, the artwork, matches that sound perfectly, you know? I'm thinking of, you know, like, pretty much any Birthday Massacre album does that really well. And again, like, that's how you know that an artist really cares about their music, is when not only do they have a unique sound, but they have an album cover that conveys that sound just as good as the music does. It's another piece to the puzzle, you know what I mean? People talk about, like, you know, the music versus lyrics kind of thing, like, you know, which one do you, as a listener, which one do you kind of favor, which side do you want, kind of thing. Do you listen for the music or for the lyrics? And for me, I'm more music based because I'm here for music. If I want to be here for lyrics, I would just read, you know. But good music can have bad lyrics, but if you have bad music, then you can be saying anything. It just doesn't really matter, you know. So I think there's a priority listing, right? And the music is first, lyrics are second, and I would say the album cover is also something you should have to think about, and that'd be third. But that is the trifecta. It's not just music and lyrics. It's music, lyrics, and the actual artwork. Those are the three things that are all very different skill sets. If you can harness those three, excuse me, then like, again, it's just like, that's it. I mean, that's just the point, you know, like, people that can, you know, harness those three things to such a high level are just, you know, that's what makes the best albums, you know. Like, yes, music can be for social purposes, you know, and other stuff, you know. music's always been a very social thing for humans, and but it's also been, first and foremost, a very personal thing, a thing to communicate experiences in, and it can be used for socialness, like parties. It can be used for sleeping, or for studying, or for background. It can be all those things, but it's primarily an art form and an expression. And this is one of those albums where this is definitely, and this is expressing something, and it's something specific, and it is phenomenal at that. Next track, Non-Being. There we go. When I talk about pacing, I mean pacing. When I talk about pacing, I mean things like that. That was good timing. Nice. Next track, Spider Lover. Spider Lover. Damn. Just when I was thinking that all these tracks were kind of starting to sound a bit samey and blending together, this one stands out a bit more. Which wasn't bad, by the way, necessarily. Nice. Next track, Dance of Sync. That was I was gonna say was a cool sound, but these are cool sounds. Jeez. Oh shit. Oh shit. Alright. It's a rave all of a sudden. Dance of Sync, so. That's crazy. Last track, Obscure World of Null. That last track before was insane, by the way. The sound design on this track specifically is also really good. They're very hypnotic, like calming, almost trance-inducing sounds. That was a pretty insane album, I gotta say. Personally, the only thing keeping it from like a 10 or something for me is and this isn't even a bad thing, but so it's a somewhat short album, and this is one of those albums where it's somewhat short and the songs kind of blend together so much, and it's definitely more of like a soundscape atmosphere kind of thing. I wouldn't really choose, oh, I want to listen to this song today or this song today. It's going to be the entire album or nothing. I'm not gonna be picking and choosing. And I would prefer personally if between each of the tracks there's something more distinguishable. Maybe on more listens I'll pick out certain things. Because honestly, I don't even remember what I heard. Like, I remembered the last two tracks because they had there was things about them that were that stood out more than the others. It all kind of ends up kind of blending together. And I say that, but also that's totally fine for an album like this, where it's going for again, it's definitely more of an art piece, and it's all kind of going for one sound, and there's more than one way. There's more than one way to go about it. You can have an album where each song is more unique, and each song adds a different flavor and a different side to your overall point. Something like 9 Inch Nails. If we want like this type of music, right? Like 9 Inch Nails, Downward Spiral, Birthday Massacre, Walking with Strangers, Curve, Cuckoo. These are albums that they have a very unique sound, but each song is very independent of themselves, and they're providing a one clear piece to an overall puzzle. And what something like this album is doing is it is all one thing, and so like it's kind of wrong to fault it on that, because this album as a one thing is very unique and recognizable. But part of me is like, well, if it's an album of 10 songs and I can't name any one song, like, oh, there's this song that sounds like this, that is a, like, that itself is a bad thing. So it's really a weird, like, hypocritical kind of conundrum it lands me in. But I mean, I'll give this a 9, and maybe at some other point I might give it a 10 after I listen to it more. I remember it being more like a little more on like the cutesy atmospheric side when I happened to fall asleep to it the other day. I don't remember it being as like industrial and angry and noisy as this one is. And what's funny is, okay, here's what I want to try. Here's what I want to do. And you know what? I might even do like a separate video. This would be a decent stream idea, actually. So, okay. So, I mentioned before that they sound a lot like this other artist called Uboa, Uboa, and I don't know if it's where they got the name. However, most people. Oh, that was. Hold on. Let me turn my light back on. It's over here somewhere. There's the cord. And there's the light. Alright. And okay, cool. So, did it turn autofocus on again? It shouldn't be. So what most people might not know, unless you're like me, and you consume the stuff that I usually, focus. Oh, why does it keep turning autofocus back on? Whatever. Anyways, there it looks much better now. So yeah, like I mentioned, Uboa is an artist. They sound very similar, but their music is more on the like angry side, and and coming from a depressed kind of standpoint. I don't know much where they got their name, but if you already probably know where I'm going with this. If you know what that sound is, that is really loud. So there is a game called Yikii. This is what it is, and it is a very unique game. Pretty much most indie horror games, god damn it, stem from this in some way. It was very, very, it was very influential in the indie horror scenes from like the 2000s or something, like 2006 or something. And the creator is pretty anonymous, like we don't know anything about him. There is a creature or something called Uboa in the game. And so the entire game is you just wander around these very surrealist dream landscapes, right? And there's this thing you can find, it's this little girl in a hut, right? And there's a random chance where you turn the light off, it turns into this thing called Uboa, right? And then you can't leave. And then you interact with it, and then it does creepy stuff. Yeah. So the reason I bring up this in particular is because if you actually play this game, right, it is super unique. It's amazing. And again, it's just a game where you just wander around. Why is it not working? Just a game where you wander around these surrealist dream landscapes, and I think that playing this game while having that album in the background would be an insane experience, because as someone who's played this game a lot, it fits to a T. It feels like this game, the album. That's what it feels like to me. So I don't know if I'd want to do like a live stream of this or something, but where I have that album going as I'm playing this game. But it's definitely a thought, like, that is. The soundtrack for this is way more like, minimalist and trance-induced, and it's not really meant to, I don't know. Point is, they're going for different vibes, of course. This one is definitely more scary, and Yikii is more of a, it's in the middle. It's kind of just eerie in the middle, There is a part or two that's kind of scary, a part or two that's more, sweet and dreamlike, it kind of toes that line between dream and nightmare really well. And again, like, I really want to try. I might even do it after this, because I'm definitely going to do it. Okay, so there's a lot of thoughts going through my mind right now. So I know they have like 3 albums, I think. They have more. I think. Whoa, they have more than 3. Damn. Or I'm like, cause, man. Wait. No, that's not it. Is it? No. That's so. Hold on. There are 2 other albums I have saved from them that's not there. Yeah, these. And are they a different... That's weird. So those albums aren't on their official page, but they do exist. Anyways, what I was gonna say is that I want to listen to this artist a lot more. I want to get a good number of albums under my belt, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play this game. I'm just gonna hit shuffle, and just on like the artist, not just the one album, but like just hit shuffle and just see what happens. That would be. So what is that? There's a lot going on, but yeah. So like, I'm definitely gonna come back to this artist at some point. I really liked what I heard, and I'd be curious to see. I'd be curious to see some other, cause like, I know for a fact these albums are gonna have like different vibes to them. They're gonna be all slightly different. Like maybe, you know, more atmospheric, more noisy, more, you know, calm. Like they're different kind of flavors of the same thing. 23. They do a soundtrack. What is that? Don't play. I don't want to get copyrighted by accident. One album of video is enough. What is this? The hell is Tainted Seeds? Damn. Hold on. What is this? Tainted Seeds. Is it a game? What is it? What is the album? What is it for? Is it for a game or a movie? I want to know. Original soundtrack composed for a unreleased game project. Man. Now, you know what's funny? I was literally thinking, as I was listening to the album, they'd be super good for like soundtrack work. All right, I'm gonna end this here. There is a lot going on, but this is a good place to stop because I managed to kind of, you know, put a cap on all those thoughts I had. So before I get any more, if you liked what you've seen and heard, please subscribe, like the video. I try to cover artists and music and genres that could just use some more attention, you know, as well as some local stuff here and there, you know. Well, pretty much every other reactor and reviewer and critic is going after the top artists and the currently releasing big albums and all that kind of stuff. I just go the other end and I try to cover, again, all the other stuff that just doesn't get enough attention that deserves, you know, just stuff that gets overlooked, you know, good art, good music, you know. That's what I try and do, you know. And that's my main thing. Every now and then I'll do something that I'm curious about or just a big artist that I do tend to follow, you know. And I do that sometimes as well. I will live stream myself deep diving into a genre I have no idea about and kind of learn about it. I do topic videos sometimes. Again, I will record with their permission local music and I'll post that. I live stream my practice sessions when I'm able to. I'm doing a big overhaul to my sound and setup, so this is all gonna start to sound way better when I start doing them again. I do mashups in my spare time, and every single song I ever liked, including about maybe 800 that's been removed from just random YouTube glitches, is all in here. If you want to use that for your own listening pleasure, or if you're ever wondering what do I know about music, there you go. And then I've also provided right here a playlist of a bunch of videos of very high quality music video essays about many things. And like I mentioned here, if you want to ever check out those, just to learn more about music and the art form and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, go for it. Worth your time. And that's gonna be it for this video. Thanks for watching.